All right, welcome to the Backpass World Cup review and preview show. And this week's guest, we've got Hari from the Plot Malaysia, one half of the Plot
Plot
Malaysia.
Malaysia,
How are you
yes.
doing, Hari?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm fine, man.
Good to
How's your
see you
other
guys
half?
again. Good to see you guys again. He's okay, like he's in Singapore. He's in your part of the woods
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
Yeah.
Busy man,
So
family man as well.
yes, family man as well. Now he's got his first child. So yeah, man. He's an
Yep, that's
extremely
keeping
busy
him
man.
busy.
Having
Yep.
sleepless nights. I'm sure you're well versed with that already.
Yeah. I've experienced that. Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
And with me for the first time on the show, Kel. How are you doing, Kel?
First time on the show?
On the World Cup show. World Cup
No,
2022 show.
2022 show. Okay,
So
no, I
World
was
Cup
with you like
2022,
from
not the
work.
countdown show. Yeah.
Dude, I was wondering, I was with you counting down since 2002. Like,
Yeah.
work, and then we know, no, but really, really happy to be here. Lot of things, a lot of interesting things happen in this World Cup. Good.
Yeah, I want to ask the both of you, how has the World Cup been for you at the moment?
I was gonna say, I was talking about Ram having sleepless nights. I've been having some sleepless nights as well, So yeah, it's been good, man. Actually, the World Cup, we went into the World Cup obviously with a lot of, as you know, there's a lot of controversy behind this World
Yeah.
Cup in general. The fact that it's being held in the winter, and then all the other human rights related issues, and then obviously the interruption to the leagues. But you know what? It's been fantastic. I think it's been one of the better World Cups in terms of entertainment, in terms of the matches of the last, I would say, the last 20 odd years. It's probably been one of the better World Cups. So, and maybe, maybe it's got something to do with the fact that it's in winter. I was thinking about it right yesterday, because maybe the players are not as tired as they've been in previous World Cups, end of the season. And then, after a full season, you go and play in a World Cup. And maybe that's actually helped in a way, because there's been some freshness, there's been some real good quality on the pitch.
Good
Okay.
that you said that, because most leagues, this is when the players hit their prime, right? Especially those England players, and those November, December period. I know for some European leagues they go on a winter break, but this is just before their winter break, and normally teams like these players, they hit form during this period, and what a great way for them to translate that to the World Cup stage and give us a great show, man.
Yeah, exactly, man. So, in a way, maybe the fact that it's been held in winter has turned out to be a blessing.
Russ, how about you? How are you enjoying the World Cup?
Yeah, it's good. Actually, before that, I want to ask both of you again. Where do you all stand in all these controversies regarding the World Cup, the LGBTQ and the human rights issue and all that? Is it too political for football, or are people taking it are being too sensitive, or is it hypocritical? Where you all stand on this?
I'll speak about the human rights thing. I think that for me has been I think that criticism is justified, because if you watch a lot of the watch some documentaries which are watched, etc. That's been a bit. I mean, to put up 7 or 8 stadiums they built from scratch in 10 years, spent about 200 billion or something. But the climate, as you know, the population of Qatar is not very much, so it's primarily driven. The labor work is driven by immigrants. And to put up 8 stadiums in that short period of time from scratch basically would involve having to work these individuals long hours, work them in the summer in Qatar. And this is hard, laborious work in the outdoors in 50 degrees Celsius or something like that. And I mean, we've heard obviously about some of the living conditions, etc. So that I think is an issue. It's a massive issue, and that needs to be addressed. So I'm glad that the media has highlighted those issues. But yeah, once the show begins, then the show begins. Like, we've got to focus on the football. But yeah, I mean, I think a lot of the blame here lies with FIFA, if you ask me honestly. If you look into what happened, I mean, I don't know if you guys saw the Netflix documentary. I thought it was brilliant, that one. So it shows a lot about the organization as well, right? And what was involved in awarding Qatar, or what. I mean, I don't want to go into the controversies, but there were controversies there in awarding them the World Cup, etc. So I think that was the wrong decision, personally. But I mean, now that the games, I mean, the football has started, I mean, the focus is purely on the football, and it's been a great show.
Okay, Kel, yourself?
100%. My thought process is pretty much similar to Hari. But first and foremost, to take the game into the Middle East, I think that's a great step for football, rather than always, I know the Middle East, now they are the money guys, money bags, whatsoever. But just to take the game there, it's already a big step for football. But there, you watch like a lot of things happen. Stuff happens, yes. But then again, we speak football, right? And I believe, we have been entertained. Whatever that happens, I believe they need to get into the investigation and something like that for Qatar. But for me, whenever you go into a city or a country, I always believe that you need to respect the country and respect their culture and their norms. Not every country in the world practice what you practice in your own country. I mean,
agreed.
Even for Malaysia or Singapore, for Singapore, it's if next time we host the World Cup, what are you going to complain? They cannot chew gum in our country. Then what?
Yep.
Then we're going to have a negative press. Or Malaysia is also another Islamic country. They certainly ban some stuff. So you have to respect the country. But then again, certain issues need to be looked at. But that's beyond our reach. That's like FIFA level, and they need to sort themselves out.
Yep, exactly true. I just felt that exactly whatever your point was, Kel, on the respecting the country's culture, laws. You like it or don't like it. It is what it is. You got to go there. You got to respect, and just go there, enjoy yourselves. I think we've seen a lot of images and videos as well of people from all walks of life and different nationalities and races going there, enjoying themselves, having a good time. So it's not all bad, like you're gonna get caught and flogged or something, like that, like some kind of severe punishment, capital punishment you're gonna get from for doing anything wrong. And also there was the beer ban as well,
Right.
which I think a lot of it is also been stirred up by the Western media,
Right.
made it seem like because there's always this air that whatever happens in the West is the the be all and the end all. Everyone, the whole world got to follow them. So that's that. I think I agree. It's nice that the World Cup has gone to the Middle East for change. I think every continent, every country deserves a chance to host the World Cup.
Right.
And so far so good. I
hope one day even India can host the World Cup. Malaysia is a big enough country with they can
maybe like a join co-host. Malaysia, Singapore can co-host the World Cup. Why not? But
hopefully.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with both of you guys, man. I think that's why I didn't bring up the LGBT or the drinking issue. I think those are, it's like I said, the culture of the country, etc. You got to respect that, So my only gripe is the human rights related issues, but that's something. That's something hopefully that will be looked into. You see, post World Cup.
That's something probably political and is beyond football, I would say. Unfortunately,
the only one thing I would say is I liked. Don't get me. I'm glad it's gone to the Middle East and it's gone to a new country, etc. But it's just I like the host country of the World Cup to be a footballing nation, to have actually made the World Cup, qualified the World Cup before, have some pedigree.
You mean like instead of in the Middle East, maybe go to Saudi Arabia, which is like in this region is like a footballing nation. They've been to a few World Cups.
Yeah, I don't think they will, but maybe Iran, for example, or Saudi, those guys, who've got
Iran will be quite tough, pedigree.
Yeah, that's why I said Iran probably be tough, but one of those countries, who've got some pedigree in the football landscape,
But you think about
it makes for a good tournament if the host has a good tournament as well, or play some good games. I think that's been the only sour note. I think that Qatar have actually been terrible on the pitch.
Yeah. I mean, they give their best, but definitely the standards, of the team, you can see it on the pitch, but I think out of the whole Middle East continent, I think Qatar was like the best option, other than Dubai. But I think Dubai is also too small, so
UAE,
UAE, so I think
UAE maybe Dubai and Abu Dhabi and all. I don't know whether that's big enough or not, but no, you never know, right?
Never know.
Singapore.
Okay, guys, back to the football.
Yep.
You've asked me how I found the World Cup. I think it's been nice. It's been entertaining, dramatic. It's nice also to be able to watch at least 2 games a day. 6 p.m., 9 p.m. You want to stretch it, you can watch the 12 p.m. and so at least 2 and 2.5 games a day you can watch earlier in the group stages.
Yep.
Now you're down to 1. at least one game a day. So okay, not bad, not bad. The games, we've been entertained. That's for sure.
Who are you
But then
supporting, Ras? I didn't ask you this. Italy is not
yeah,
in the World Cup, so who are you supporting?
yeah, it's a tough one. I'm just keeping an eye out on Holland, Croatia, Portugal. These kind of countries have never won the World Cup. If push comes to shove, I mean, these nations are out of the World Cup, then I will support the team that has won the World Cup the least number of times, except
Okay.
France. I don't like France, so not
So
supporting France.
England then. So you're going to
England,
support
man.
Yeah,
England.
so I'm going to support England against France. Yes.
Also, do you have a soft spot because your dad supports England?
No, not really.
Okay. Okay.
I
Just
mean,
say.
I used to have it when, especially when they had a lot of United players in the team, and the people weren't, so chirpy, like, oh, he's coming home, and all. I used to have that kind of soft spot earlier, but then now I feel every time they start doing well, it gets irritating. So that's that.
Good. Good to hear. Good to hear that, Ras.
So okay, getting to the second round of 16. No surprises except one last night that we saw,
Mm.
but let's go one by one. First game, Holland against USA. No surprise there. But the way USA started, they were like on a house on fire. They were completely dominant. But then Holland were very clinical.
Clinical. That's
It's
the word, man.
yeah, and we've always said that this Dutch team is very unlike the typical Dutch team where they're flamboyant, they play with flair, and all this very calculative, very pragmatic Dutch team.
Very direct.
Anything? Yeah, very direct. Anything you guys want to add to that on that game?
Yeah, I mean, you said no surprises there, but actually, I fancied USA in that game, going to that
Mm.
game for it, because I thought they had a really good group stage. I thought, I saw
Yeah.
I saw the game against England, and I
Mm.
thought they were the better team against England. And England, I've got a lot of talent. They've been really good in the tournament. And looking
Mm.
at the first game of the group stages, or first two games, I thought England were far better team than the Netherlands were. And I was not really impressed by the Netherlands in the first one or
Mhm.
two games. I think Ecuador, they drew 1-1, and Ecuador dominated that game. Probably should have won the game. So, and
Yeah,
even Senegal,
Ecuador
they
was one
scored.
of those teams. I felt they were good, but for some reason got knocked out.
Yeah, exactly. And not just that, I thought Senegal gave the Netherlands a good game in the first game. And they just scored in the last 6 minutes, they scored 2 goals. So, again, that game was very, very even. So, having watched that, and then watched US really, I thought, play better than England against England in that draw. I thought the US would win against the Netherlands, actually, because I thought the US is a very young squad. They've got a lot of talent. If you look at that midfield, they all play in the top leagues, man. I think Musa plays
Yeah.
at Valencia. Tyler
Yeah.
Adams was one of the players of the group stages. He's playing for Leeds at a top
Yeah.
level in the Premier League. Weston McKennie plays for Juventus.
Yeah.
They've got real quality in that team, And then Pulisic, and then you've got
Pulisic
Timothy
plays for
Weah.
Chelsea.
Timothy
Serginho
Weah.
Dest for AC Milan.
Timothy. I think the left back I was impressed with. I think Robinson, who plays for Fulham. I think.
Fulham.
Yeah, Fulham.
I thought he was impressive. Timothy Weah, George Weah's son.
Yeah, George
Obviously,
Weah's
and then Gio Reyna, Brendan Aronson. I think Brendan Aronson is a quality player. I think he should have played more. Should have got more minutes. So I fancied US because of the youth, because of the energy they can bring to the game. I thought they would press the Netherlands high, and they would use that energy and that youthfulness. But then I think maybe that's what caught them out. They were too naive.
Yeah.
Young squad, they went on the
Exactly.
attack too much, too naive, and in the knockout stages, you've got to. I think even the coach is a bit naive. He's quite a young coach, isn't it, Greg Berhalter? So I think that's what the tactics. I think they got it all wrong, and the Netherlands picked them apart.
I think the Dutch, they expected it. If you look
Yep.
at it, they actually expected it. Let them have the ball for the first few parts of the game, and then they pick their moments, like what Ras said. Very, very pragmatic approach, very typical Louis Van Gaal style.
Van Gaal.
He actually expected this was going to happen. US full of energy, youthful player, quality players, ball players. They will come out all guns blazing. So the Dutch, all they needed to do was just to hang in there and then hit them where it hurts the most, right? So I think the Dutch, they're pretty smart in this tournament, I would say. And also the substitution Van Gaal is making, and the in-game decisions, how he's moving the players, I think that's really good. I think it's a real experienced manager. I got a feeling this Netherlands team is going to go far, but they are not going to impress any of us till they reach. You get what I'm trying to say? They'll
Yeah.
be in the semi-finals, finals, but they're like, everybody's like, how did they even get there? It's like it doesn't make sense.
I mean, Louis van Gaal and the Holland national team is like a marriage made in heaven, isn't it? Wasn't he a manager? They did really well under him, I think, in the previous World Cup as well.
Yeah,
Wasn't it?
2014. Yeah,
Yeah. So I think they got to the semis. Was it quarterfinals or semi-finals?
semi-finals.
Semi-finals.
Yeah.
Then he went
Semi,
third and
yeah.
fourth. Yeah.
Semi, right? So
And they wanted. Yeah.
yeah. So I think he's a high quality manager, and maybe I'm jumping the gun here. I know you want to talk about the round of 16 years, but I fancy them in the quarterfinals. Yeah.
Okay. And their opponents in the quarterfinals, Argentina against Australia. I felt Argentina pre-game. I felt Argentina's going to walk all over Australia because I've not been impressed by Australia at all. But turned out to be very close. I don't know if either of you watched the game because it was at 3 a.m. I didn't. So, any one of you watched the game?
I watched the highlights. I didn't catch the game.
I watched the
caught
highlights as well.
I caught
Yeah.
the highlights of the game. And yeah, just like one of the reasons I didn't watch the game, I know it was 3 as well, but also I expected Argentina to just walk all over Australia, But I mean, I think the Aussies put up a real fight. And then I watched the highlights. I think they had one or two chances right at the death to score an equalizing goal.
Equalizer.
Yeah, which was saved by Emi Martinez, right? So, yeah, I mean, they gave them a real fright, man. I mean, people talk about Messi and Argentina and they're getting back on track. I've not been impressed by them. Like, even after all these games, I've still not been impressed by them.
Do you feel Argentina is a bit underwhelming? Like
Yeah.
I don't know, like I don't know. You still play Di Maria on the right. It's very underwhelming. Messi is great. He's just wherever wherever he is, Argentina adapts to his position. They shift around. But the center mids, Paredes, Rodrigo De Paul, there's nothing. There's no spark or whatsoever. Back in the day, they used to have like great midfielders. The Mascherano's, the Requelme. Real ball players, but then I don't know. I don't find Rodrigo De Paul and Paredes. I'm like, looking at them, I'm like, what is going on here? And I don't know. If not for, I think it was Julian Alvarez who scored. It was a great goal by him, and that guy got talent. So up.
No, he wasn't a great goal. It was a keeper's mistake.
That was the mistake, right? The mistake.
Yeah, the keeper, Matt Ryan made a mistake. The great goal was the one before this.
Yeah. I think the great goal was the
group stage game. Yeah.
Right. So that's my take on Argentina. But yeah, against Netherlands, if Lionel Messi turns up, maybe. But I think they will not progress after this.
I mean, I think the first game against Saudi they were poor. Then I think the coach was a bit brave, right? He brought in some young guys. I think Enzo Fernandez is a really good player. Enzo Fernandez, I think, right? If I got his name right.
Yeah,
he's
correct.
a quality player, Benfica guy. He's really good.
Yeah.
I think one of the players that he's brought in, which has made a difference. I mean, apart from Julian Alvarez, is the guy from Brighton. Is it McAllister?
Alex McAllister.
Alex
McAllister.
He scored a goal as well, and he's looked good, man, in that midfield. So I think that's been a good spark for them. But I mean, I've genuinely not been impressed by them. Apart from Messi, I've not been impressed by Argentina at all.
For me, I've only watched Argentina in the first game. And
that was a good game.
That was a good game. Yeah, so happy that Saudi won, but yeah, from all accounts, from other Argentine fans I've heard on Twitter and everything I've read, I think it has been underwhelming. I think a lot of players, they feel like you mentioned, Rodrigo De Paul and Paredes and all these guys, they're not really performing well. They're good players, but they're not really performing. Maybe I mean, I always believe in a tournament you take time. Sometimes you pick at the right time, so if you can grind out results and then when it really matters, then you pick and play well, then why not, right? But at the moment they don't look good. And thinking about, I mean, I hope Holland go through because he's one of the teams I'm supporting. But yeah, I mean,
100%.
knowing Van Gaal and his tactic, right? He probably will study the Argentines very, very well and execute something to nullify Messi and whatever threat that they can bring.
I think they will take Netherlands to the penalties if they ever want to have a chance. I think penalty is the best chance for them to go in.
And no, I mean the defense of the Netherlands is strong, isn't it? With Van Dijk, Ake, and And who's the other
Yeah,
defender
the
they have?
Netherlands
Is it
defense
De
is
Ligt?
impressive.
Yeah, De Ligt, yeah.
No, even Delete is not even in the squad.
Not
In the
anything.
first 11, he's on the
Yeah,
bench.
Blind.
Delete's on the bench. De Vrij is on the bench,
Who are
and
the three he's playing in defense? Is it Van
he's
Dijk?
playing
Ake?
Van Dijk, Ake, and Timber.
Oh yeah, Timber. Timber is
Timber.
quality as well, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. So these are the players that are playing in the defense. Let me just show some comments. Madhu.
Madhu Mohana.
Yes. Hi guys. Hi Madhu. Thanks for catching the show. World Cup's happening now. Yes, Madhu, it's happening now, and all the players, and you only know Messi. Yeah. Okay.
Dude, the only guy is playing is Messi, man. That's not, or maybe Enzo Fernandez if you put it that way.
Yeah. Anyway, Hari, just to share, Madhu is a professional footballer in Singapore.
Oh wow.
Yeah, but he's known not to be a football fan. He plays the game, he doesn't watch the game.
Oh wow, interesting.
Yeah. So okay, next one. England against Senegal seems a bit easy peasy. England's the highest scoring team in the World Cup right now. Impressive stat. So far, so good as well, because when Gareth Southgate came into the tournament under a lot of pressure and criticism, he got that as well after the USA draw. They seem to have steadied the ship somewhat. Harry Kane's back in scoring goals. They've got goals from all over the team now as well, not just one player scoring. Looking good, or just poor opposition?
I think, I mean, expected that to be a tighter game. So England won it too comfortably. But then again, if we watch the first 30-35 minutes, I think Senegal had the better chances. They were the better team. And then obviously England hit them on the break, isn't it? Once they got that first goal, then the confidence started flowing. And I think Senegal's heads dropped actually. And then it was really easy for England. And they scored some good goals, right? Harry Kane's goal was great play. Who scored the first goal again?
Henderson, is it?
Henderson.
Oh, Jordan Henderson, man, brilliant.
Yeah.
I mean,
Your man.
one thing I've
Bellingham
got
had a good
to
game.
say. Yeah, I've got to say, player of the tournament for England is Jude Bellingham by far. Quality player, man.
Yeah.
Brilliant. And I think the smart move, I mean, I'm just not just speaking as a Liverpool fan, but he's much maligned for England. But I think one of the great decisions Southgate made is bringing Henderson back into the lineup, I think, for the last game in the groups. And then in the second round, I thought him and Bellingham as the number 8s were brilliant, man. I mean, that goal was classic, right? The number 8 crossing it for the other number 8 to score, with Harry Kane having moved out of position and dropped deeper, right? So, yeah, very impressed by England in that game. But I mean, I think there's tougher tests ahead, because this Senegal side they lost a lot of players going to the England game. Firstly, Sadio Mane didn't make the tournament. Then they lost one of their top midfielders, Koyate, in the group stages.
Yeah.
And then they lost Idrissa Gana Gueye, who's probably their best midfielder, right? He was suspended for that game. So I won't take too much into it. I still think England is very much a counter-attacking team. And I look at the US game, right? I think the US approached that game really well, right? They kind of made sure they defended well, and then they started hitting the England on the break, sort of, with the pace they had. Whereas I think maybe Senegal was a bit naive. So I think, I think France is going to do that. They're going to defend deeper, and they're going to hit them on the break with Kylian Mbappe and all. And I think England, I mean, under Southgate, with all the talent they have, I still think they're very much a counter-attacking team, which is why I genuinely don't like Southgate. I mean, I think there's with the talent they have, they should have a manager that actually gets them to dominate the ball and attack a lot more. So that's my only thing.
I think one thing great about England this World Cup, they have just been really quiet and they have gone about their business. No, unnecessary distractions, hype, nothing. They just go in there, they get the job done, they leave. No fancy news. Unless you count the Sterling house-breaking incident. But other than that, I'm so sorry to hear for that, Raheem Sterling. But other than that, no massive news from the England camp. Just went there, got the job done, and I think they played particularly well against Senegal. I felt personally watching the game, they actually controlled the game. Yeah, Senegal was actually going quite a bit in the first part of the game. But England, with the amount of talent they have, amount of experience, bringing Jordan Henderson in. Harry Kane is there, and mix of youth and also experience is playing to their advantage. But they are taking on France next. and France for me, will beat England. But then again, you never know, right? If England wins France, I think England will go to the final. That's
Yeah,
my
the
opinion.
other thing I'll drop in here, I mean, I've been impressed by England compared to the previous Euros and all, because I never, even though they made the final, I thought they didn't had an easy ride and they didn't play really well. I think they're playing a bit better now. And I think Foden is good since he's brought him in. I think
Yeah.
Bukayo Saka has been brilliant on the right. He's been absolutely brilliant. Rashford has done well coming off the bench. The thing with England I'm going to reserve here is I still don't think they've been tested in this World Cup. So,
Yeah.
Iran. I mean, let's face it, they're quite a poor side. I mean, they were okay in a couple of games, but they're not a great side, right? And I think in the first game, in fact, they were really poor. They improved after that. They played really well
Yeah.
against the Wales and the US,
Wales.
right? So I think in the first game they didn't. I mean, even their top player didn't play in that first game, Azmoun,
Yeah.
as
Azmoun,
well,
yeah.
right? So yeah, I think they didn't approach that well. They were not ready, so they had an easy game. Then of course they had Wales. I think in Wales, I mean, as the last game, come on, Wales, Iran beat them 2-0 and should have won by more than that, man. So Wales were extremely poor in this tournament.
End of the
and then-
generation as well, Wales.
And then they played a US team, which I thought was good, right? I thought they were a tough team and all, like I said, star players. But then you see them against the Netherlands and you think maybe England, are not that great. Like,
Very
maybe this
easy.
US team isn't that great, maybe we thought US were good against England, but is it the other way around? It's because the Netherlands kind of like had it easy against them, quite easy against them. So I feel they've not. And then they played the Senegal team, which, let's face it, has been decimated by injuries. They had I mean, all their star players are out. So I'm still reserving my judgment on this England team. And the real test is against France, because with that defense, with Harry Maguire in defense. I mean, I'm sorry to say, he's still an accident waiting to happen, and I think we've got Giroud, Mbappe, Dembele running at him. I think it could be curtains for England.
Well, credit where it's due. It's been said that Harry Maguire have had a good tournament. So, well, let's see. Maybe he's just a good player for England and not
I read,
for.
I read
Again,
the
I
news-
repeat,
I
he
read-
hasn't been tested. He's
for
definitely not.
yeah,
been tested.
that's also true.
No, I read an article, Ras, like Eric Ten Hag is actually studying England on how to use Harry Maguire. That was the funniest article I read. I was like, no, don't do it. Just sell him. That's it.
Yeah, let's see. France. Well, I mean Senegal. I just got to say one thing. I don't think they have been really impressive as well. I felt in their group, I thought Ecuador was really impressive, and I fancied them to go through with the Netherlands, but unfortunately, Ecuador didn't make it. So Senegal went through. I felt they were missing Sadio Mane in a big way. I thought they could cope with his loss, but they were missing him in a big way. So that made a big difference to the way they played and all. Because 4 years before, so I thought Senegal was quite exciting. A quite exciting team they had, but just knocked out by the narrows of margins. So that's my opinion on the Senegal team. Moving on to France and Poland. Well, of course, I was supporting Poland in this game, but it's actually I would say in this game it's a matter of who scored first that would decide the game. Because before France scored, Poland had a really good chance, and I felt Poland's tactics were quite good until France scored. They soaked up the pressure, and then they slowly grew into the game, took on France, and from the start of the tournament, I think they've not attacked as much as they did against France. And they had a really good chance to score, which they missed. It was an incredible sequence of events where the keeper blocked it and a couple of defenders blocked it. So, just not your day, I guess, for Poland. And that made a big difference because after that, then Giroud scored. And that goal that Giroud scored as well, they were defending so well, Poland. But at one moment where the defender just, lost focus, let Giroud go through and he scored. And that's it. That changed the game because after that second half, Poland were not in the game at all, and they had to push forward. That left spaces behind, and then that's it. With people like Mbappe attacking, the quality he has, the pace, punish them. So, yeah, that's my take on that France-Poland game. You guys?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't catch the game, so I didn't really catch the game, but I saw the highlights of that one. I've not been impressed with Poland at all, man. I thought they're the poorest team in the tournament, the most boring team in the tournament in the group stages. But then again, I mean, from what I saw in the highlights, from what I heard from you as well, I think they gave a better account of themselves against France. But yeah, I mean, in general, not a great team, too dependent on Lewandowski. Quite a boring team, quite pragmatic. So I think the only thing that come out of that game, good thing was Mbappe was the 2 goals were absolutely brilliant, man, by Kylian Mbappe. So I think that was good to see. I would have actually preferred Mexico going through instead of Poland. Because I thought the Mexicans, the first 2 games, I think the coach was being too defensive. In the final game against the Saudis, they were brilliant. Really attacking, a lot of flair, and that's the true Mexican. I've always been a fan of Mexico in World Cups. They play with a lot of flair. So I was hoping they get another goal in that game because I wanted them to go through instead of Poland. I think they would have given France a tougher game if they play with the kind of flair they can, So that was a bit of a shame, but yeah, I mean, I'm glad Poland's out. To be honest, I think they would have, if they had gone through, it would have been an extremely boring quarterfinal, whichever game they played.
Poland
Have you
versus
been-
England.
Kel, have you been impressed by France?
For me, France should be really lucky they have Kylian Mbappe. That guy is a man on form. Regardless what people say, this guy overrated, money grabber, blah, blah, blah. This guy is a talent. He is a real classy player and he can decide games.
Yep.
I think I think Lewandowski could have done it maybe when he was younger. He could have been better, but Kylian Mbappe is taking this World Cup, by the throat, and he's going for it. It's like something to prove. Maybe he's playing for a move next year. You never know. But he is taking this World Cup very seriously, and it's because of him France look good. To be honest, the rest of the team, okay, not the best like what we saw the last World Cup, but he's the one who's going to decide games. I wouldn't be surprised if he decides the England versus France game as well, and all the headlines will be on Kylian Mbappe.
Yeah, I think he'll decide that game, man. I genuinely think he's that good. Although I got to give a credit to the guy on the other flank. I think Dembele has been pretty good as well, from what I've seen. He's on form for Barcelona, and that's the thing with England, right? Who do you take care of? I mean, you look after Mbappe. The other guy on the other side can skin you as well, right? He's got pace to burn. A lot of ability, and then you can
got
bring
Giroud,
Coleman.
who's Giroud is also like that big guy, that real target man. That
and then you can bring Coman off the bench as well. It's a shame that Benzema is not there, man. Because if he was there, I think they would. I think they would be unbelievable. But and obviously Pogba and N'Golo Kante are not there as well. But yeah, man, I think Mbappe is quality.
It's quality.
So France to go through for the 2 of you then.
Yep.
Okay.
Kylian Mbappe to score.
Okay.
A double by Mbappe. He'll sit Harry Maguire down on the floor first, and then he'll put it away.
Jordan Pickford won't know what hit him as well.
No way.
All right. Okay. Moving on. Next one. What was it? Oh, yes. Japan against Croatia. Ooh. That was first game to go into penalty shootout in this World Cup.
The least said about the Japanese penalties, the better, lah.
Yeah. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. I mean, when he went to penalty shootout, I feared for the Japanese because I felt, oh, my God. I think their lack of experience will tell here. And true enough, their lack of experience, the composure when they took the penalties, really poor. I don't think the goalkeeper made good saves. He just decided well, and then that's it.
He could. I think he caught hold of the ball a couple of times, man, in the penalty shootout. No, and you can catch hold of a ball means that must be one poor penalty, But I mean, can I just say something? I was very disappointed by Japan. And I'll tell you why. Because I mean, people are praising them in the group stages, right? Germany, fantastic. Spain getting the result.
They qualified top of their group.
Qualified top of probably the group of death, man, and then gave the Croatians a good game. But I'm very disappointed with the Japanese coach. If I'm the Japanese FA, right, I'm firing that guy. The very next day, I'm firing him. I'll tell you why, man. I don't understand him. He, for some reason, kept leaving his top players on the bench, and he'll bring them on in the second half. I never understood that. Go for the game from the start. Mitoma, every time he came on, he won them a game. And he kept putting him on the bench. He never even started him against Croatia. Then he had... I mean, I think was it against Costa Rica when they would have won and gone through, and then he left all the top players.
That's the one.
He left Junya Ito on the bench, who was brilliant in that first game. He left Mitoma on the bench. Who else he left on the bench? He left Asano on the bench, who scored the brilliant goal against Germany. I just didn't get this guy, man. He did the same thing against Croatia. He left Mitoma on the bench. I mean, Takumi Minamino is not doing great for Monaco right now, but when he came on against Germany, he
decent
actually
player.
changed that game.
Yeah.
He changed that game against Germany because it was his shot that was saved, and then Ritsu Duan scored, right? So, and his movement is quite good. He left him on the bench. I just didn't get this guy. For me, Asano again was left on the bench.
Yeah.
And he always leaves it too late. So I really didn't get this guy at all, man. And you see when Mitoma came on in that second half against Croatia, I mean, he had a shot, I think, saved. He was brilliant, right? They couldn't deal with him. He had a shot saved. Why not play him from the start? They may have been 2-0 up at halftime.
Yeah.
This is what I don't get about the guy at all, man.
Mm.
So I was actually very disappointed because that squad, I actually fancied Japan to make the quarterfinals at least, man. I fancy them to beat Croatia because I think they have a very, very good squad. All their players are playing in top leagues in the Bundesliga, top sides. They're playing in France. Some of them are playing in Spain. Some of them are playing in the Premier League. So, I mean, on paper, they had a better team than Croatia because Croatia, I mean, they've got a good midfield, but an aging midfield. So, I don't know, man. Very disappointed with the Japanese coach. Look.
All that said, I know the Japanese, whatever has been said, man, they, to qualify from that group top, and then they got a favorable draw with Croatia, to put it that way. Took the lead against Croatia 1-0 and then equalized. And then you put in Maya Yoshida to take the penalty.
What to say, right?
I don't know what to say. Like Hari, I think explained it very well. The manager should go. That's why he was saying his buys. All the news were like, oh, the Japanese coach was saying thank you to he should say thank you, sorry,
sayonara.
Everything. Sayonara, what a goodbye. And but this Japanese squad with the right manager, I think they could have just taken this World Cup by storm.
I agree, man. Real talented squad, young squad. Yeah.
The best Asian team by far. Yep. I know Saudi played very well, but South Korea played decent. But Japan, by far, hands down, the best Asian team this World Cup. But really, they actually turned up for the game against Croatia. So Croatia didn't have an easy game and walk all over them. But then again, I think decisions and really unfortunate. When it goes to penalties, right? Anyone can. It's anyone's game. But then you put Maya Yoshida to take a penalty. I was scratching my head. I was like, oh, you're asking for it, man. Like this.
I mean, the big one for me that was pissing me off was Mitoma. For me, he was their best player. He was their best player in the groups. For every game, he was their best player. And he never started a single game. I just didn't get it.
Did he score? No. Maeda scored.
No, he didn't score. Yeah. He set up a goal against Germany. He set up a goal against Germany. He set up a goal against Spain. I mean, I just don't get the guy. I don't know what's his issue with him, man. He was the best player for them, and he kept leaving him on the bench.
With that being said, I still think Croatia is doing what they did last World Cup, exactly the same. They are getting through on like extra time penalties, and they're just like creeping their way through. And don't be surprised, this Croatian team, I really like their defense.
I wanted to speak about Croatia. I like the defense.
Yeah, defense pretty strong. Then you got the usual, right? The Perisic, the Modric, those guys really turning up for the game. And like I said, man, don't rule Croatia out, man. They might just creep through. Yeah, I know who they're playing next, but
I think their midfield is aging, but it's still a quality midfield, right? Look at that midfield: Modric, Kovacic, Brozovic, who I think is good.
Yeah.
And then I got to give the Croatian manager credit, man. He took off all of them in extra time. I think.
Except Brozovic,
and the youth, I think they were good. I thought Kramaric was very good. Was it in the game against? Which game was it? He scored 2 goals in, I think 2 or 3 goals in, wasn't it? In the group stage, Kramaric.
Yeah, group stage. I can't remember who were they in the group with.
With Belgium and.
Belgium. Yeah, Belgium. Tunisia Morocco, and Denmark.
No, Belgium, Morocco, and
Belgium, Morocco. Yeah. Sorry, that's
Belgium, Morocco, and
Morocco topped the table, and Croatia. So you see,
Canada. So I think he scored 2 against Canada, right? Kramaric, So
and Canada is a good team. It's a good team.
Yeah, good team. So I thought. I mean, I think he's good. I think they've got a good player, and Orsic, who came on for a little bit.
Orsic,
yeah, he's a good player. And then I mean, you talk about the defense, man. That guy Guardiol.
Yeah, wow, what a defender.
He's my defender of the tournament, man. That guy is going to some big club, man. He's absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, one-on-one defending.
He's 21.
He's young. He's 20, 21 or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, he's young. Yep. So I felt, I feel for Croatia, they're very good up to the midfield, but they need to sort out their attack because a lot of times they have watched them play. They play well. They play well. Go up to the penalty box of the opposition team, and then that's where something goes wrong. Because I just feel up front they've not sorted out who their best player is to play in the striker's position. They've
Yeah.
rotated that around. They don't seem to know who their best man is in that position. But they're a talented team. They got talent and they are gritty. They got very strong mental strength. So that is why that they can go all the way to extra time, winning your
Right.
penalties. And now they've got a good defense to build on as well. So all the more
But
reason.
next game, man, next game.
Yeah. In fact, in that game against Japan as well, like Hari said, he brought off all the experienced players, and I was thinking, oh my god, what's this guy doing? Taking off Modric, then Perisic, Kovacic.
Especially
And
with the
like,
penalties coming, right? That's what I was thinking.
yeah,
He's
with the
taking off
penalties coming,
potentially
I'm
your
like
best
thinking,
penalty
why?
takers,
You
yeah.
have to understand these guys are like 30, 34,
Yeah,
35.
30,
They
30, yeah.
that's
30 plus, yeah.
crazy.
Correct. I
That's
think
like-
probably Kovacic is the youngest of the lot.
Maybe
And I think Brozovic is okay. He's 30 lah, maybe. He's just about 30.
Yeah, Brozovic
right?
is 30, yes.
so. But then again, it's a great game. Next game, they're taking on a really good, confident. Team.
People were saying that, there's a possibility there's going to be Japan, South Korea in the quarterfinals. I thought very optimistic. I mean, if that happened, it would be great. It would be really fun, but not to be. Brazil just walked all over South Korea. Any comments on the dancing, though? Is it disrespectful or?
No, I mean,
Not
this is
for
their
me,
culture,
man.
man. Yeah, this is their
That's what
culture.
spices
having
up the
fun.
World Cup. That's what we want to see,
Yeah.
man. That's their culture.
We've
They dance
seen it.
the samba.
We've seen it all the time, right?
Yeah.
Not just Brazil, the African teams as
I mean,
well.
the African teams do it,
dancing.
and we love it. I love it, man. Watching that,
Yeah.
So I take
think-
that out.
The Colombian team, a couple of World Cups ago,
Yeah.
they did pretty well, and they danced their way through. They were dancing
Correct.
all their goals they scored. They were dancing it.
In
And,
2014, yeah.
And the fun part of watching Brazil, they are just having fun.
Yeah.
They're just going there having fun. They makes football look so easy, so beautiful. But
Joga
then
bonito.
again, Joga bonito. But I hope they can take this momentum through the tournament. And when shit gets real, they need to really turn up. Those big guys, they were all big talks. Vini Jr. and all big game players, but they need to turn up. Team against Croatia, very efficient team. Their midfield, Casemiro is having a great tournament. He's going to play against his former teammate Modric. So it's a great battle, the Brazil attack versus Croatia defense and the midfield. I think that's about it. And don't forget, Brazilians, Thiago Silva is still there. Marquinhos, very experienced players. So they just need to get
Alisson in goal as well. Really good,
Just
really
need to
good
get into them
goalkeeper.
that party time, yes, they can continue dancing their way, but when when the team really challenge them, they need to turn up.
Can I just say something? Just taking a game back against South Korea, right? I mean, Brazil walked over them in the first half. I thought South Korea were very naive. They went toe to toe with Brazil, and that's the mistake they made. They went and attacked Brazil from the start, and then Brazil just hit them on the break numerous times. They just exposed them. There was too much space for the Brazilian attackers and all, right? But I'll just give
Again,
a word
not
for
very
South
good.
Korea.
Not very good tactics by the manager. So again, I think manager at fault. South Korea.
No, 100%. He went too gung-ho. Paulo Bento, right? Their manager is the player, Paulo Bento. But just a word for them, right? I mean, apart from that first half, I thought second half they were really good. Even though maybe Brazil took a foot up, I thought they were good. They created a lot of chances, man. Alisson made, I think, 2 or 3 world-class saves. If not, it could have been 4-2 or 4-3, I think. But yeah, I actually think in terms of football play, Korea were better than Japan. It's just, I think, that's a personal opinion in the group stages especially, I think Japan had the better players than Korea, which was the telling thing. And I think it's because the manager, because I think the Japanese manager is too conservative, and then every time he's one goal down, then he throws all his players on, and then he goes for it in the second half, and he does well because of the quality of players he has. But I think Korea's football and the way they were playing with lesser players, I mean, they're not very well-known players, but apart from Son, but I mean, I saw the game against, was it Ghana, where they lost 3-2, I think.
Yeah.
And I thought they should have won that game, man. They had so many chances. They were so dominant.
Yeah.
It was the same against was it Uruguay in the first game where I thought it was quite
0-0,
even, but
yeah.
they were the better side against Uruguay in terms of chances and all as well. So I thought the way they play, they're passing the triangles, they're pretty quick, they get really good crosses into the box. I thought their football is very attractive on the eye. Korea, the way they were playing, it's more attacking philosophy. But I think the quality of players they have is not as good as Japan and not as good as the Korean side from 2002, for example, where they had all the Park Ji-sungs and Ang Jung-wans and all that. But yeah, I mean, so just a note on Korea. And I think one guy to watch out for, I think their striker is pretty good, man. The Cho.
Number
Oh,
9.
number 9, yeah.
Number 9.
Yeah, he came on and scored 2 goals against Ghana, and
yeah.
I thought he was
Yeah.
good even against Brazil. I think he had a couple of chances. So yeah, he looks a good player. Like looks a good talent.
Even the Wolves player as well.
Oh, he
Huang.
scored a great goal, isn't it? Huang.
Yeah.
Huang.
Yeah. Park scored a great goal, yeah. But the Wolves player, he scored the winning goal against Portugal.
Huang. His name is Huang.
Yeah, Huang.
No, the guy who scored the goal against Brazil, that was a great goal as well. Park,
Oh yeah,
right in the top
That was-
corner.
Yeah, that was a good goal as well. And I think there was a guy called Kim Nam Il, I think, who's quite young. He's playing in, is it Spain or
Yeah,
one of
I
the
think he's
top
playing
leagues?
for Valencia.
Oh, Valencia, and he's got a good left foot, man. First time I'm seeing the guy. He seems to have a really good left foot, really good crosses into the box and all. So, yeah, man, I think quite impressive. It's just that I think they were too naive against Brazil, and Brazil just tore them apart in that first half.
Right. So Brazil, Croatia. I gotta say something about Brazil as well. I think after a long time, we are finally seeing a Brazil in typical Brazil fashion,
Yes.
especially in attack. Not since 2006 have we seen Brazil like that. So that is something kudos to them. But again, I think they've not been really tested yet. So let's see. Tougher challenges ahead. You probably will start against Croatia. So yep, Brazil or Croatia.
Brazil.
I'm actually going to throw a spanner in here. I'm going to say Croatia, man. And I'll tell you why. I thought Brazil was super impressive against Korea, but I think it's because the Koreans played into their hands as well. They were too open. They gave too much space to the attacking four that Brazil have, and they tore them apart, right? If you look at the group stages, I think Serbia gave them a very good game in that first game. They scored a couple of late goals to win it, right? I think a couple of goals in the second half, but Serbia played them quite well. And then was it Switzerland who got hammered by Portugal, and it took a Casemiro late goal to win that game.
Correct.
And then
correct.
obviously changed team against Cameroon, and then Cameroon beat them. Yeah, much changed team. But I just think, they've not really been tested. The couple of games they had tough against Serbia, who actually didn't give them space. So Serbia didn't give them space. Switzerland didn't give them space, and they limited their chances and limited the attacking flair of the Brazilians. So I think Croatia will take a leaf out of Serbia's book, and that's how they may approach it. And they have a better midfield. So the other thing I'll say is Brazil play a very attacking team, man. They play, I think, is it Neymar, and then they play Vini Jr. and Rafinha and Richarlison. And even the two men they play in midfield, if you look at it, it's Casemiro and it's Paqueta. Paqueta is actually a number 10,
Yes.
Yeah,
who's
correct.
playing in midfield. I think if he goes with that lineup, the three for Croatia will dominate those two, because Paqueta is not a natural midfielder. He's a number 10. And the three that Croatia have are the three best and most experienced midfielders in the World Cup. I think they will dominate that midfield if he goes with that lineup. And that's where I think Croatia may have the edge. So it depends on the tactics and what the Brazilian coach goes with. But I think that's where Croatia will strangle them, because I feel it'll end up being Casemiro against three.
Yeah.
And that's where I think they will finish them off, because Paqueta is a number 10, man. He's a number 10 for West Ham, who's playing in that, because against all the other teams, they have a lot of the ball. Against Croatia, they won't have a lot of the ball. They won't have as much of the ball, because those three keep the ball really well in there. So I think it may end up being 3 against 1, and that's where I think they may get fall into trouble.
I think the Brazilian, their tactics could be, to overload the front. So get the ball to the front as quick as possible. Then you have 2 number 10s, essentially, 1 striker, or Neymar could go. Or Neymar is the free roll guy. And then you got really speedy wingers down the side. So they will overload the front and, get those midfielders to drop back to help out their defense. I think that's their tactic. But Hari, what you said is very, very true, because 3 against 1, Casemiro is only human. How is he going to deal with that? It's crazy. But if I were the Brazil coach, I wouldn't put on Fred. I would put like Bruno Gamires. I think the
Guimaraes,
guy,
yeah.
very decent player. He
Guimaraes.
plays for Newcastle. Very good player. Can open up a defense. Can send the ball long. So I think he would complement Casemiro in the center and then have more protection for the Brazilian backline.
That's a great shout, man. I would probably do the same. I'd go with Bruno. Bruno is brilliant for Newcastle, right? He can do a bit of both. He's a good defensive midfielder. At the same time, he can go forward. So he and Casemiro, or he wants to be a bit more defensive and then just leave the four in front. He can go with Fabinho and Casemiro. But I think if he goes with Paqueta and Casemiro, that's where I think
He's
they
asking
could
for
get
it,
in
yeah.
trouble. Yeah, he's going to get in trouble. Those three dominate the ball against the best teams in the world, man. So, yeah.
Okay. So that's that. Moving on. The last
We didn't
one
get
now.
your prediction, Laras. Croatia,
Ras,
Brazil.
who
I'm hoping Croatia win, of course. Enough of Brazil winning World Cups. Kel, you supporting Brazil, right?
I'm supporting Netherlands and Brazil.
Okay.
Both my teams.
All right. Hari? England? No.
I don't know. I don't support England. I actually don't support any team in the World Cup. I always only support an African team because I lived in Africa.
You have
for
an
a while.
African team right now.
Yeah, so I always support Nigeria. I mean, my first choice is Nigeria because I lived in Nigeria for a few years as a kid. So that's my first choice. They didn't make it to this World Cup, so then I support any other African team. And thankfully, we have an African team, which we're going to talk about now. So they are the team I'm supporting.
Yes. Morocco as well. I think really, last night we saw a first surprise result in the World Cup. And I'm so glad Morocco beat Spain because that Spain is another team I don't like.
Let me say this. The best goal of the entire World Cup so far, Ashraf Hakimi's penalty.
Oh
best
my God.
Goal.
Winning penalty and all that pressure. And the guy does the Panenka.
He did. And it wasn't like those Zidane where it's a higher penalty. It's just a real, like a dink. Like a real small...
I would say that he scuffed it a bit, but
yeah. But it's just like, wow.
He got lucky.
Pressure for a young guy. The whole nation watching you. Everybody is, but he went on to do that. And Hakim Ziyech as well. I have this question with penalty shooters. Okay, why do they take so much of effort placing the ball on the right and left where you can go in and blast it in the center?
That's what Hakim Ziyech did, right? Yeah.
Yeah, the goalkeeper is going to dive. Okay, but you choose to, Spain's penalty, Pablo Sarabia, he decided to go right at the corner and hit the bar again. It's like,
hit the post.
Yeah, hit the post. And then Sergio Busquets, he took the penalty like he's taking in the Sunday Football League. He just casually running out. And then, so disappointing. It's so crazy.
But I got to say this, man. I mean, it's not just luck. It's not just one-off. I thought Morocco deserved it. They deserved it, man. Even in terms of chances created. Pablo Sarabia had one in the I think in last
last minute.
Apart from that, Spain had nothing. They had nothing apart from that. In fact,
a lot of possession.
The best chance fell to that. Two chances fell to Chadira or something who came on to Morocco and the keeper.
I was so frustrated with him because he got into like so good positions and then was either too slow or didn't make the best of it and then scuffed it, whatever, like, oh man.
And they are there. This Moroccan side is in the quarterfinals on merit, man. In the group stages, they topped their group. They were outstanding, man. They beat Belgium 2, and not just that, they only conceded one goal, which was an own goal. Apart from that, they haven't conceded a goal yet against anyone. And basically they've played Croatia, Belgium, Canada, and Spain, and they have conceded one goal, which was an own goal. And at the same time, they play quite well, man. They don't just defend. I think they like to build up from the back. Even yesterday against Spain, they were taking some risk and passing out from the back. They've got a very energetic midfield. I think Unahi is good, but I mean, the player of the tournament for them is Amrabat, man. This guy is a powerhouse in midfield. So he's been good. Ziyech has been good. I think Boufal has been very good on the left as well. Very skillful Boufal on the left. And then they've got a Sevilla striker up front, isn't it? And Nesri. And then I believe the guy that keeps coming off the bench is actually a prodigy for Barcelona. I forgot his name, lad. He's on loan at Osasuna as well or something. But so I mean, they've got a really,
I think his name.
And then they have two of the best fullbacks in the World Cup. The
Right.
two
Yeah,
best
Mazraoui
fullbacks in the
and
World Cup belong to
100%.
Morocco: Hakimi and Mazraoui. And then
Mazraoui.
even the centre backs, I think they have the two best centre back in terms of pairing in the World Cup: Roman Saiz and is it Aged from West Ham, who got
Yeah, I
injured in the
get.
game.
Yep. I didn't
He
even know this guy played for
Yeah.
West Ham.
plays for West Ham, and he was very highly rated when West Ham bought him, and then he's been injured for a couple of months, I think, in the start of the year. But I mean, they got quality all over the pitch. They have deservedly made the quarterfinals, and on merit they have made it there, man. It's not been lucky; it's been on merit, lah.
Yeah,
I think the
and
right side has been
you forgot to mention
devastating,
the
man.
goalkeeper,
Oh my
Goalkeeper.
God!
Bono.
Oh no!
I think wow, he was great on the penalty shootouts yesterday.
He was doing that.
Yeah.
Guess where I'm diving, man? Guess where I'm diving?
Yeah.
Oh my
And he,
God.
apparently he plays in Spain and for a number of years now. I think they were saying in
Sevilla.
the commentary.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were saying in the commentary. Was it this year, last year, or something? He was voted the best keeper in the Spanish league or something like that.
Yep.
So the guy is good, lah. I mean, I never heard of him before, but he's quality, lah.
But the right
Oh,
side of
yeah.
Morocco, man, is crazy. Ashraf
Ooh.
Hakimi and Hakim
And Hakim
Ziyech.
Ziyech.
These guys
and-
are devastating.
I'm going to keep mentioning his name, man, because I really hope Liverpool need midfielders, and that guy Amrabat.
Amrabat.
I think
Okay.
he's brilliant because he's actually he plays a defensive midfielder, but I think he's more of a box-to-box
Box to
midfielder,
box,
man. He defends, and then you
yeah.
see him driving up front with the ball. Even in extra time, he's driving up front. I think he's quality. The guy.
There's a lot of talk about him right now
Yep.
in terms of making a move. So very interesting. I think he plays for Monaco, if I'm not wrong.
No,
No,
Fiorentina.
Or Fiorentina. So,
Yeah.
so hopefully he gets
I've
to-
seen him play, of course, in the Italian league, and on his day he can be very good. And in this World Cup, he's showing to be really good because I mean, in Italian league, we've seen him have some games where he's really good, some not so good. So it's been a bit inconsistent. But in the World Cup, I think this time he's really showing his good side and playing really well. And as you said, no, Spain, all the possession in the world, tiki taka and everything, but still toothless. The first game they won 7-0, and everyone and I was a bit frightened as well. I thought, whoa, man, Spain, because in the previous Euros, I felt they gave Italy the hardest time in that tournament. In the semi-final, so they were impressive and they got really good young players, I felt,
Right.
but I only wasn't too sure how they do up front. And there you have it. No, they exhausted all the quota probably in that 7-0 against Costa Rica, and then after that they have struggled a bit, trying to find the back of the net, trying to score goals. A lot of good players, attacking players, good midfielders, but lacking a finisher, an attacker, to finish off the moves. But they couldn't, like what Hari said, they couldn't even create chances to score. They had a lot of good possession. They
It
come
was
up
just
to the
going
defense.
left to right.
Yeah, left, right.
It's the most boring gameplay they have. Like the talent they have. I mean, they have Pedri playing like almost like a defensive mid. They should play him as a 10 man almost. He's got so much quality in the ball. They don't have anyone linking the play from midfield to attack. They don't have they're not very. I mean, the sideways passing is boring to watch, lah.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm glad to see the back of Spain. Morocco.
Very happy to see Morocco in. Yeah. So
I've always had a soft spot for Morocco since the '98 World Cup.
Oh, same man, same. John,
Yeah.
sorry, Mustafa Haji.
Mustafa Haji
Yusuf
and all,
Chipo.
Yusuf Chipo, yeah.
Yeah.
All these guys, Noreddin Yabet. So
Yep.
so I've always had a soft spot for them, and then now because Hakimi, obviously formerly from Inter, so that's another player. So yeah, really happy that they gone through, and I would want to point out the support that they have is immense. It's like they were playing at home. Oh my
Yeah.
God,
Did
mad
you hear
support.
the
Crazy.
during the penalty shootout that noise when the Spanish players were taking the penalty?
No, man,
Yeah.
crazy. It was going on.
They
the whole
dominated the
game.
stadium.
They kept booing them throughout the game, isn't it? The Spanish player. That is going to be their age, man. The crowd, they make
Yeah.
it like a complete home atmosphere. Very intimidating.
Yes, very, very intimidating. So it'll be very interesting now against another Iberian team, Portugal. So Portugal smashed Switzerland 6-1. Cristiano Ronaldo sitting on the bench, and then Portugal smashed them 6-1. So Cristiano Ronaldo not even on the score sheet. So I mean,
And the-
obviously,
and the
He had one
part
goal.
is-
He had one goal
the-
offside. Ruled
Yeah.
properly offside. Yeah.
The best part is they bring the guy they bring in to replace him scores a hat trick.
Scores a
So
hat-trick.
that's what That's crazy, like yeah.
So that is that. I was listening to by chance I was listening on radio and someone was blaming Manchester United for destroying Cristiano Ronaldo's form and all that. But I just felt that there's one thing, he missed preseason. So when a player misses preseason, sometimes it takes time for them to gel, and he might not even gel. Might not even need. In fact, I would say he might need more than once the whole season to get back into groove again. So, and also he's getting on in age. Come on, he's only human. He might be really good physically fit and all, but he's still only human, right?
No, Raf, I
And
beg to
also
differ.
I think
I beg to differ. I think he's just sulking. I
that
think he's
also that also
he's
I
just
think
major
that's my
sulking.
other point. I
I
think
think he's just
ego
frustrated,
is
man.
another
He's
point.
He's just
frustrated. He's
frustrated.
sulking.
He just can't believe
Yeah,
he's not the same
yeah,
anymore. He
Yeah,
can't
yeah.
accept
yeah,
that. Like, yeah.
yeah.
And
That's my point.
Ronaldo
Ego as well.
ego.
His ego is not helping him at this point.
He's a type of player that he needs the mojo, the people loving him, the good vibes, that everybody is in for him, because he's a very single-minded player. He doesn't care about what happens around the pitch. Single-minded, he wants to score the goal. Everybody on the pitch believes that this is the guy that will score the goals for us. But right now, I think people are starting to move on from him, which is right.
Yeah.
But then his body language, he's taking everybody down. I didn't watch the game, this Portugal game, but I saw the highlights and I saw those interplays between the players. Bruno Fernandes looks alive again. That guy has
Bernardo
not been
Silva.
himself. Yeah, Bernardo Silva, Felix. All had good game. Good
They
game.
have
So
they have the best array of number 10s in the World Cup, man.
right,
You
but
think
then
about
it's a
Bernardo
risk.
Silva, Bruno Fernandes,
Right.
what's the guy? Otavio, is it who's playing
Otavio,
now?
yep.
Otavio.
So-
then they've got
But
quality
it is
there.
a risk if you leave out Ronaldo. Why? Is because if you leave him out for this game and you win 6-1, everybody is going to be, it's okay, completely fine. The replacement scored a hat trick. However, if you would have left him out and you lose, the media, the backspin is going to be crazy. Everybody's
Yeah.
going to say, because you didn't play Ronaldo, your best
That's
player.
why you
blah,
got to
blah,
give kudos to the manager, really brave
Yeah.
of him. Brave,
Brave,
and he
yeah.
stuck
Very,
to
very
his guns, lah.
And he
Yeah,
and was
exactly.
rewarded, right? They
Rewarded.
I think Brazil, when they won South Korea 4-1, everybody was saying their favorites, hands down, best team, blah blah blah. Then after the Portuguese result, everybody is like, oh wait, look at Portugal now. So maybe they are better without Ronaldo. So then again, it's like the whole thing coming up again, right?
I've got to say though, I was I didn't see the game, but I was disappointed because I actually thought Switzerland would give them a really good game. They're a good team,
Yeah, true.
And I thought I think Shaqiri came out and apologized, and they said they were not themselves. But I think they were poor, lah. They were not themselves basically. And I thought, Portugal then ran riot. But how much is it? I mean, Portugal were good, but how much is it that Switzerland were crap as well yesterday, lah? I thought they were just not up to the mark as well. And then, but you got to give credit to Portugal, right? I mean, they're hitting form at the right time.
Right.
They've got quality players. I mean, they've got Ruben Diaz in defense. They've got João Cancelo at right back, Rafa Guerreiro at left back, and then they have all these number 10s: João Felix, Bernardo Silva, Bruno Fernandes, Otavio, and then they have this Goncalo Ramos. And then any team that can leave Rafa Leao on the bench
Rafael Leao,
And bring
yeah.
him on.
has got to be some team like that. Guy is top class, man, and he's on the bench every time he comes on. He scores a goal.
Yeah, true.
That could
Correct.
be their trump card, Portuguese trump card, having Rafael Leao. And, now with this Goncalo Ramos, I think the Moroccans have to be a little worried about this, because I know they have world-class wingbacks or fullbacks, defenders, but now they are actually going to take on a proper squad. And I feel the Moroccans, I genuinely want the Moroccans to go through, which I feel might be, but they need to take Portugal to the penalties for them to have a chance.
Okay. So who you think gonna win?
Penalties, and then for Nora Fatehi's sake, so maybe Morocco.
that had to come in.
If Nora Fatehi ever listens to this episode, I'm looking out for you.
Yeah. So I think that makes 3 of us.
Yep. We're all looking out for her. I'm going to go with Morocco as well. I mean, I'm going to go with Morocco, I think, because of bias. I mean, I want an African team to do well. So I'm going to go with Morocco to get the result. I mean, maybe penalties, maybe in full time. The only problem I have is, I mean, they played 120 minutes. Portugal just had to play 90 minutes. An easy game. Morocco had a tough game, and then Morocco picked up injuries. I think one centre
Yeah,
back is injured.
yeah,
The
yeah.
other centre back also was all strapped up at the end. So that's the only fear I have. But if they start well, if they can see out the first half an hour or so, I think Morocco could pull a result. They're quite a disciplined side. They've got good tactics. The manager seems to be very good tactician. So I hope they can get a result, man. I hope I'm predicting they win 1-0 full time, 90 minutes.
You
Okay.
never know. The Portuguese are playing Pepe at the back. So when you have Pepe at the back,
You got a
it's like
chance.
you have a chance. He's 39 years old. He's not. Sometimes he's good. Sometimes he goes into this extra crazy mode.
He's never been the best. I've never
Pepe.
classified him as the best defender
Yeah.
I
So-
feel he's
and
a
to play
rough
him-
defender.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
to play him at his age right now speaks a lot of volume about him. But like, you have a chance. So if the Moroccans are smart, get the ball towards his side, because Joao Cancelo as right back, he will bring the ball forward, leaving a lot of space behind, and that is where maybe Sofiane Boufal can actually take advantage of that.
Mm.
I'm just so glad that like Morocco is in the quarterfinals, because for me, a World Cup is never a World Cup when you get into like the quarterfinal stage and all you see is European and South American team,
Right,
which is what has been happening recently. By the time you get a quarterfinal, you see European and South American team, and you don't get any other representative from Asia, from Africa, or any other continent. So I'm glad that at least there's one team that's out of those two continents that's in still left in the eight. Then it makes it a proper World Cup, like.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Well,
if they progress, I think then the semi-final will be interesting, because then they have like either France or England waiting for them, which I feel it will be a good semi-final.
Okay, yeah, interesting.
Compared to the other one, where one of
The
my
other one
teams one of my teams will proceed and one of them will not.
On both might not. So let's see.
Oh, both might not. Yeah.
Yeah. It's promising to be Brazil, Argentina at the other side, but let's see how that one goes and how this one goes. Well, for me, I think I would like Morocco's fairy tale run to continue. At least then Africa for the first time will have a semi-finalist.
They'll be finalists. Yep.
Yeah, so that will be very interesting, and also an Arab team on Arab soil to have gone to the semi-final. I think really
It's huge.
poignant. Yeah. So let's see how that one goes. I mean, I wouldn't be too disappointed if Portugal win as well, because that's one of the teams that I hope would win the entire World Cup.
Yeah, they haven't won it before, have they? No.
Yeah, they haven't won it before. So yeah, I mean, if Morocco go through and Morocco wins the World Cup, wow, fantastic, right?
Another one, the Netherlands haven't won the World Cup before as well, isn't it?
Yeah, Netherlands haven't won the World Cup as well. Yeah,
and they have made a lot of finals. I think
Yeah.
I think probably the most unlucky team. Like, they made the finals and they keep losing. So yeah, and they make the
made it
semi-finals a lot as well. So
yeah,
maybe Netherlands
74, 78, and then 2010,
2010,
And
yeah, and
they
South
have a
Africa.
three
coach.
finals.
And they have a coach who knows what he's doing now, because he's been in this situation. So pretty interesting, because now he understands like what he needs to do, especially in a knockout structure. So hey, you never know, man.
Yeah. Yep. So yeah, promises to be some really, really exciting games coming up in the World Cup in the quarterfinals, 11 p.m. and 3 a.m. Kickoffs. Do catch the games. I mean, it's okay, right? I guess the quarterfinals is gonna be over the weekend, so even if you catch the 3 a.m. game, it's okay, because you do not have work the next day.
Yep.
So yeah, so it's okay. It plays in our hands.
Indeed.
Indeed.
Yep. All right, guys. Yep.
Right. Thank you so much, Ras.
Yeah. Thanks a
And
lot,
thank you,
guys.
Hari.
Thanks, Raz. Enjoy. Thanks, KL. Enjoy the rest of the World Cup. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be one
Yep.
hell of a ride.
Yeah, we hope so, and we hope for some shock results along the way as well. Yep. All right. Peace out.
Bye.
Cheers.
Thanks,
Bye
guys.
bye.
Cheers.